Hello, and welcome to this Control or Innovate chat. I'm joined today by Andrew Ferguson of Curve Connected Cloud, and we're going to be talking around all things network security, specifically in retail. But before I get into some of the questions, Andrew, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, Andrew Ferguson. I've been working in networking and networking security since pretty much the year 2000. Really focus around firewalling, um, networks, Wi-Fi, all that good stuff that protects users from the bad things in the world. Really enjoying working at the moment with Juniper Mist from a Wi-Fi and switching point of view. And yeah, looking forward to discussing what we can do in the retail space.
Perfect. Yeah. So my first question, obviously, retail and retail security is a big topic at the moment in general, but in terms of the stores itself, how do retail stores protect from guests on Wi-Fi from jumping from their phone straight into the credit card machines or tills?
Yeah, number one is make sure that there's separation from the actual wireless network. So we call those advertised networks SSIDs. So you would have for corporate devices, you'd make sure that was nice and secure, ideally secured by user credentials that only those users have, such as a certificate. And certainly with Juniper, we can use access assurance to check whether that user's valid, their machine's valid, whether they still even work for the company. Um, and if that machine's in a good state, it's got the right antivirus and all those good things. Um, and if they have, we'll put them onto the secure network, which allows them to get to the rest of the corporate environment. If they're not, if they fail some of those checks, we can give them a internet only access. And if they fail all of those checks, we can just drop them from the network altogether. And then guests have more of that traditional splash page access to the internet via probably open network nowadays. You can use things like OWE to add encryption on top of an open network, which then using even at the Wi-Fi level, the switching level, and maybe the internet egress such as SD-WAN, we can ensure that they're segregated from the corporate network at all three stages. So if any one of those has an issue, the next one should take up the good fight and protect the corporate network.
No, sounds interesting. And then how can you protect from rogue devices plugging into that corporate network as well? So we've got the guest, but what about the rogue devices plugging in?
Yeah, people have been quite aware that wireless networks you've been able to protect using those various network access controls that, or NAC, as I've mentioned before, both on wireless and wired now, we can offer the same level of protection. So if people are physically plugging into a wired connection, we can do all those checks that I just mentioned to check you're a legitimate corporate device and give them the network access that they should have. And you can identify the users and users' devices. And as more's learnt about them, you can actually elevate their access automatically. So things like printers, tills, etc., we can give just enough access to do their job. There's certainly anecdotal evidence, and certainly I've seen it in retail customers where people have just been able to walk in, plug something into a device whilst sat on a nice display sofa, and without the right protections, connect all the way through to the center of the corporate network. That's certainly something we want to avoid going forward,
Yeah, that's quite scary.
because that's all a bit too scary.
Yes. And we kind of got on some of the scary stuff we were talking about, but how do we stop like evil twin Wi-Fi being a problem in retail stores?
Yeah. So that evil twin Wi-Fi is something advertising either your guest or your corporate SSIDs networks to the users. To the users, it would appear as if it's what you meant to connect to. You connect to it, and there's something on that network that can then, man in the middle your transaction, potentially take your money, attack your device, connect further on. All the things we want to protect about. With Marvis, the AI assistant within Juniper Mist, that can be used to detect, alert, automatically raise tickets into, say, ServiceNow or other things to very quickly alert you that that evil twin has popped up on your network, and actually show you to within a pretty decent degree of accuracy where it is as well within the building. So give you a map with a nice red dot on, and show you what you can do about it. And also, if users have come from that evil twin to your network, it would show you which of those users are, and alert on that as well. So that's, can be dealt with very quickly and efficiently.
I'm going off tangent here, but evil twin Wi-Fi, is this what my understanding of evil twin Wi-Fi is? I'm in a store, I want to connect to the Wi-Fi, and I've accidentally joined not the official store Wi-Fi, but a similar one that looks like it. Is that what an evil twin Wi-Fi is?
Absolutely, yeah. So say you've got, I don't know, customer retail store guest, Wi-Fi. And if somebody's made an absolute copy of it, or even something that looks very similar, adding a dash to the end of it or something like that, or, underscore free Wi-Fi that appears all over the place, all of those sort of things, it'll pick up, as a bad third party.
And I guess
Wi-Fi.
there's risk to the store, as you talked about, but there's risk for the general public who are in store and connect to the wrong one, and then your risk of losing your card
Yeah.
details and all the other kind of information you've got on your phone and everything. So
Yeah. And to the customer's point of view, it's your reputation as a retailer that's going to get damaged.
yeah,
It's your
PR piece.
customers that you've got a duty of care to, and all of those good things are blown out the water. They're just trying to swipe credit card information or stuff like that. That's what we're trying to protect against.
Yeah, I'm always very wary when I go into a store and you need to connect to the Wi-Fi because there's no 5G, and you see a free Wi-Fi at the end of it or something, and you never fully trust it. So that's good to know it's out there. Obviously,
And a lot of
Oh, sorry, you carry on.
big box retail. Oh, sorry, a lot of big box retail, big metal boxes full of racking. The chance of your 5G working in there is pretty slim. So retailers are realizing that now and trying to make sure now they've all got apps and they know people want to price check their products and do their research as they walk around, that they've got adequate Wi-Fi to do that.
No, cool. Yeah, no, makes sense. And then obviously we talked about kind of security risk, but in terms of physical devices, they can be taken from store as well, obviously. How can we help with that, especially with Juniper as well?
Yeah, certainly with Juniper Mist, we've got asset tracking capability, both at wireless level and a Bluetooth level. So they can use geolocation services to, in effect, draw a ring around the store. And if items leave that environment, it can create alerts. So it can even pass messages to other systems to alert them. So if you had a asset management system that said, this till's just walked out of the store and tills do not walk out of stores, you can very immediately send an alert to the security team to say, it left in roughly this 5-meter area, it went out this door, do something about it quickly. And that's very possible. And if assets get lost in the store, you have a lot of the barcode scanning guns and things like that. People have a habit of putting them down. With Juniper Mist, you can, again, pretty accurately locate them and certainly narrow down where to start looking for, usually within a few meter area.
Yeah, could I guess whether it's maliciousness or not? And I've never thought of it this way, not being really in the retail world before, but it's quite a big cost, especially when you're a big retailer. You've got multiple stores across the UK, across the globe, and you lose a handful of scanners and tills go missing and all sorts of stuff. That grows and scales. It's not a small cost.
No, it's not unusual for a retailer to have 500 to 1,000 stores, each with maybe 50 barcode scanners in that are worth hundreds, if not £1,000. You lose 10% of those a year because people just still have them attached to their belt, walk out, go home, too embarrassed to bring them back. Or I've found them before, just people have maybe been up on a ladder, put it down on top of a 4-meter high shelf whilst they're getting some stock down, getting straight on with the next thing. No idea where it is. And it's amazing sometimes how many of them turn up around the building.
I bet.
That's always, yeah.
And then in your views, what does the next year and beyond look like in terms of, that technology support retailers?
Yeah, so certainly the Mobility Field Day, there's been some great new announcements, especially from Juniper, to allow role-based security and to give full zero trust at most of their standard switching that retail stores would be using. That list of switching's going to grow as the year goes. That allows, as devices are identified using that NAC policy, to then give a full firewall rule set to that asset as it joins. So depending on what's plugged into that port depends what they can speak to. So even a load of tills joining the same VLAN could potentially not even talk left or right to each other. Nothing could talk to them within the store because they don't need to. And they would only be allowed to talk to their servers in the data center. And you can imagine how that could grow. You know, if somebody somehow manages to plug into the till network within a store with a random device, it gets identified as a random device rather than a till and can't get anywhere, can't do any damage, can't talk left or right. And that's a huge step forward. And that can be done as global policy. You don't have to go and fiddle with every store and do everything. You can just have it on the template and let it go live and let it happen in every store. So it's that real manageability that Juniper gives, that you can set it once, have your standard template, you know how your store works and you know you're safe.
It seems to me like there's a lot of work going into preventing security risks, preventing a loss of equipment. So that seems to be the theme of from what I've seen, the chat I've had with you just now is it's all about preventing things, and the tech and the kind of the acceleration of the tech is massively helping that and will help retailers in the next year to come and beyond.
Yeah, AI making a big difference to be able to very quickly identify something that's unusual, something that's different, something that's not standard within your environment.
Yeah.
And suggest remediation. And that's both from a security and just general operations. If stores are the Wi-Fi in a store is affected by radar nearby or something like that, the AI can realize, okay, we need to get rid of some of the Wi-Fi channels here and don't use them anymore because every time radar comes by, it's affecting the store. So it's not just security, it's that full step that AI is improving.
Yeah, it's just more data points and more insight more than anything, isn't it? To make better decisions and provide a better experience.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, I've enjoyed that chat. I've actually learned quite a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look forward to catching up again soon and talking around other topics in retail, in other areas, other technologies. And yeah, we'll talk again soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.